When I was a teenager living in Venice, Illinois, I sat on my floor and I thought about family. I wanted to have a family someday, and I wanted a curly head boy and girl, preferably to have twins. And I don't know if it was the same day or not, but I said I want my husband to have green and brown eyes and be no more than 5 years old, because my thought was they were talking about, I was hearing about maturity level and that how girls are more mature than guys. And I said, I think I received some information about that girls were, at least 6 years older in maturity level than boys. And so I said 5 years, less than 5 years. That was what I wanted. And I thought that I had met the husband I wanted in college, but then we broke up. And then in 2008, we met in 1994, my college sweetheart. In 2008, so that's like 14 years later, we hooked up again. And within a year, 6 months, we were married. Within 2 years, we had our first child. And less than 2 years after that, we had our second child. 2 years and like a couple months. And my first child was a boy, and my second child was a girl. Both of them have curly hair. And my husband is less than 5 years. He's actually 4 years. And I used to know this. Let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 4 years and like 8 months or so older than me. And so I got what I wanted. And I just felt that no matter what I went through, I just refused to let experiences define me. I felt that regardless of what I'd been through, not having my father there and, other experiences, that I wanted an opportunity to have a family. At first, I was fearful. There was a time where I was scared of having a family because I was seeing all this violence in the world, and I was afraid bringing children into the world. I said I'd rather adopt. And then at some point, still while I was living in St. Louis, because it was in St. Louis I had this thought, and some point in St. Louis I said um, that with everything that I have gone through, I experienced learning my mother's principles, wanting to learn from life, preferably learn from others, be a student of life, that I had an opportunity to bring children in the world that could have a positive impact in the world. So I instead of being fearful, I felt empowered. Instead of what the world could do to my children, I thought what my children could do for the world or to the world. And so I've had, often I'll say recently, I've been saying that motherhood is a challenging opportunity to evolve into the highest version of ourselves. That no one said it would be easy. And I looked for and read many things that would help me to take care of my children, right? Because every mother wants to do the best job, I believe, they can with their children. And I read popular books, Phil McGraw's Family First. And I remember a coworker telling me at one of my jobs, she walked by and saw me reading, and she laughed and said, "You can't prepare for a family, for families." And I pondered what she said. And eventually I thought that that's her belief. My belief is that you can, is that my mother, because of everything I had gone through, experienced, and wanted to be a student of life, my mother at a very young age started sharing her experiences humbly, and sharing her experiences, many of which people would consider embarrassing, but she would share it, and I could just see the jewels popping out of her experiences and grabbing those to lay my internal and external foundation and storing many of them in my backpack throughout my earthly journey. It was God who placed my mother in my life and all the experiences she had gone through to allow me to weather life storms, to allow me to miss, as I've said before, many potholes associated with growing up without a father in your life, being being what the world says fatherless. But honestly, without my father, I began to search for my real father, my true father, the one who created me in my mother's womb, the one who knows me, every hair on my head, who made me fearfully and wonderfully, fearfully for knowing what I would go through, wonderfully for knowing that I had everything I needed to transcend my experiences. My mother telling us things like, live another day. You never know what tomorrow may bring unless you're there. Give from the heart and expect nothing in return. Focusing our intention on the heart and not what people do to us or for us. She would tell us to create the family we wanted. So I felt empowered, as I sat there one day, a fall day in August, uh, 2 months before my son was due. At that time, I didn't know I was having a son, but fear had visited me that day as I was sitting in my shared office of my husband and I shared office. And what am I going to teach my children is what I thought, or questioned. And there was a flood of mother's words of wisdom that I just wrote them down and I call myself sharing with the world. That I knew that it was quality versus quantity. That what the values, the morals, the principles that we teach cannot be taken away, but are there to help us return to our true selves, which I've found so many times, so often in my life. And so today is Mother's Day, May the 8th, 2022. And today I feel a great amount of energy, positive energy within me that is so grateful. I had a mother who put her pride and ego to the side to share what she had learned. And not she wasn't about do as I say, you know. She was about this is what I experienced. And I want you to have a better life than me. And I believe that's what mothers do. We take the time to learn from our experiences because pain teaches us that we don't want anybody else to go through what we experience. And if they do go through the same thing, that we will affirm, confirm, reaffirm, reinforce the truths that are within them. Because my mother didn't tell me anything new. It was the words that she said that resonated inside of me because the Bible informs us that God placed his truths in our mind and wrote them in our hearts. The universal laws, the laws that guide the universe. Whether you believe in karma, sin, sorrow, that I believe when we do not align our lives with the laws, when we break the laws, that's when we experience its consequences. Gluttony, overweight, and diabetes and heart disease, cancer, anxiety, uh, where we're not supposed to be anxious for anything but pray and petition and use gratitude and make our requests known to God, which he tells us in Philippians 4:6. That it's not about, to me, whether you believe in the Bible, but what you believe in. what you decide to live your life by. And many of the Bible has truths in there. Forgiveness, and if you're holding grudges, how they can lead to stress and heart attacks and heartburn and GI system because you're not digesting life. You know, that there are some truths to that. And I wanted to be a seeker of truth. It's not about religion. It's about aligning with truth. And so one of the things I thought about on the way driving home, actually, I believe I was talking to my mother when we were living in Ohio. And I was driving home, a short trip, less than 6 minutes. And I was talking to her about something. And one of the things that she said, and I think it was the first time that she told me this, is that if you take care of your children, God will take care of you. And so there have been many experiences I've had. My son was colicky. We've, my children have experienced bullying, just many different things, trying to achieve that life work balance, and often, taking a pay cut, taking my child out of daycare, honing in on my responsibility to take care of him, trusting in a higher purpose, not even thinking about at that point trusting, but more of I felt like it was my responsibility to take care of our children. So I worked from home 40 hours plus hours a week, providing them with lunches, getting them ready, helping them with their chores, homework, whatever it was that, I wanted to bond with our children. I wanted them to know that they can come to me, and anytime there was an issue, I addressed it immediately. I nipped things in the bud, which is one of another principle my mother taught me. But I have found through moves, to the West Coast, through the coronavirus pandemic, that to be true. And I believe that whatever you believe in is true, will stand true for you. And I believe that if we take care of our children, God will take care of us. Often we think we need to have a job, outside of home. We think we need to make, thousands, millions of dollars to provide a home for our children. And our home is where our heart is. Do we spend the quality time with our children? Do we listen to our child's jokes? Do we listen to them, their explanation of life? How are we truly feeding our children? Is it with just external food, or is it with spiritual food? Are we listening to our children read? Are we taking interest in their education and helping them with their homework? And whatever we don't understand, are we doing it? Are we trying to understand? Are we looking it up? We have Google, there have been times where I couldn't find the answer or something and searched it on Google, and it came, it came right up. When we take care of our children, God will take care of us, supplying us with what we need. And the Bible tells us, Jesus said, pray like this, because our Father, because honestly, in another verse, he said that God knows what you need. If he supplies the birds in the air with food, he knows exactly what you need. And often God has used my mom to supply me with shoes and purses. And I have only made my requests known to God. And next, my mother is sending me a package with some of the very same things that I asked for. God knows what you need. Take care of your family. Motherhood is a challenging opportunity, but it's an opportunity to express God's love to our children. There are so many Bible verses that tells us that we are to train a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. It's not that your children will not go on detours. I've been on what I thought was detours, but they were to teach me and to reinforce the truths within my heart and my mind. That I pulled out my mother's life principles and stood my experiences against those truths, those principles that I knew. And that's how I maneuvered through life. I believe children are so close to God. They are not here for us to project our pain on, to live our dreams through. They have their own dreams, their own purposes in life. They are beautiful representations of the truth of God, designed for a purpose. And so we create a generational love cycle by honoring life through our children, by expressing God's love through our children, by healing our wounds so that we can be there for them. Because as my mom would tell us, time doesn't stand still. We have to move forward with our lives. And we do it within ourselves first by healing our wounds and reinforcing the truths within us. And we ask God, our Creator, our Father, higher spirit, whatever you may call it, to help us be the mother that He created us to be. There are no mistakes. You are a mother for a reason. And children they help us to see ourselves in what they say and what they do, because children are a reflection of us, of our parenting, of our wounds, of our love. And so, happy Mother's Day to you. Know that you are well prepared to do the work that you are here to do. And I pray that you will see motherhood as an opportunity to create a generational love cycle. My name is Tamika Chambers, and thank you so much for listening to Create a Generational Love Cycle. I offer newsletters, quarterly newsletters, spring, summer, fall, winter, to help you in achieving in fulfilling your purpose, in achieving and sustaining overall health, and creating a generational love cycle. I share what I'm doing, recipes, gardening, to help you. So thank you so much again. You can find me on pretty much all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your day. You do a lot. You're well worth it.